5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it, Grace. Hit it, Grace. There's no Grace here today. Yes, we have grandkid So Grace is upstairs frolicking around, but doing some things. We just finished up with our premiere. Yeah, that's it. The YouTube premiere. So, at any rate, I think it still actually has a minute or two. So that was fun for those of you who are just getting ready to join. That's cool. And those of you who are still have a minute or two before you get over here, I hope you're enjoying the premiere that we did on solar, on inverters, on generators, on wiring, on mounting on the roofs, a lot of other things too. So, at any rate, that was meant to be kind of a kickoff. You know how it is. You'd like to think it's going to be 5 or 10 minutes, and 22 minutes later, it's I finally get off the stage. So, I wanted to make it though where it was kind of the good, the bad, and the ugh, and some of the things that happens in real life with us. So, yeah, I see we've got a couple of people starting to get here. Hello, Paula. And I'm going to start right off by saying that I am so excited. Paula is like, us Southern friends, we don't mean to hurt the ones we love, but Van Vita Travels couldn't come south of the border. And I mean, last year, we didn't let people in either, did we? Or was it the other way? Yeah, anyway, I guess yeah, you couldn't drive across last year. So it's been a long year plus. It's kind of making me unhappy. But I think, in fact, you've got a video that came out with it. So if you don't get a chance today, be sure to and soon go to a theater near you, an RV theater near you, to Van Vita Travels. And Paula, congratulations on your video about, sounds like you might be making a little sojourn, stimulate the economy in California. And we'd like to do it your way. And shoot, the year is just about done for RVers. Well, maybe not really. If Paula can handle, why can't we handle it up there also? So, I see the Chromes of the world, the some of the others like who else is up there? Trying to think of his name right now. I want to say Dylan, but Daryl, that's it. And so there's some of our good RV friends are up there and kind of enjoying the northwest and in Paula's case, the central part. So yeah, it's so cool that we're going to be able to hopefully this COVID thing. I don't know about you guys, but today we went out and went to the corn maze. And so it was time to kind of saddle up. So we're still either keeping a space 5 feet or more away, or if you're getting close, is to be sure to do that. But we were kind of a little perplexed in the corn maze. I wouldn't say we got lost, but it was something else. So let's see. We have anybody else out here? I don't see anybody else. I think they'll be coming pretty soon. The show should be just finishing about now. So what do we have on the list for today? First off, if you all want to talk about, and hi, Christine, good to have you here from the Dyson's Crazy Adventure. And so we're going to talk some about power on things that you all can share with us or that you have some questions. That is cool. And then I have maybe about half a dozen things or more on what's going in on RV for the week. And there's one that's really funny. I don't know, do you keep up with Harvest Host? And they have, I think of the month, they have the comedy of the month. That's really a great, I don't know where they came up with that idea to kind of let us remember Harvest Host is also a lot of fun people. The two owners, I guess you were aware in the last 6 months, they had an acquisition, but there are growing leaps and bounds. They started off where they had 500 and then maybe 1,000 different, call them campgrounds, but places you could stay that are businesses. So that could be a vineyard, it could be a brewery, and then they added golf courses. And then there's other places that are like, say, museums and the like. So very cool concept. And as it gets to be more and more people going into the campgrounds, it's like, well, what if you just want a night somewhere? So yeah, the Harvest Host is a great way. It took us a year to do that when we had the membership, but now that we've tried it a couple times, it is, you can't beat it. So let's see. John Chucker is here. Hello, Big John. How's life out in Connecticut today? Well, I hope it's starting to get to be the change of the year. And it is here. I got to say, in Northern California, the leaves are kind of turning. How does the song go with the California Dreaming? And the leaves are gray. Yeah, starting to turn colors. But that's cool. It's getting to be pumpkin time around here. And for those of us who celebrate the Halloween, yeah, that's a good time of year also. But the weather's been just phenomenal. I wouldn't say it's been an Indian summer, but it's been really warm. But we've had a couple even kind of warm evenings, which is very cool to have. And Captain Jack Scraper, how are you there, bro? Good to see you always. And go by and check on your show. And you're still kicking. And I saw something the other day with the jaws of life, not used in the typical sense, but it was used just to show the power of the jaws of life versus using, angle grinders or a sawzall. And in fact, there was, I can't remember one of the other YouTube channels where they talked about just how powerful the sawzall is. Because normally you think, well, angle grinder, but with the right blades on it. And when I saw that, I thought, hey, that's a Captain Jack kind of video. And so that would be fun to go out with you sometime and see how scrapping really goes, Captain Jack. But you are a fun guy. Kind of like they say about us sometime is that we may get old, but we'll never grow up. We still love our toys, don't we? So, Sue, what's going on with you? Our marvelous, wonderful moderator, Lucky Dog, and not just Lucky Dog Bob. We love Bob here too, but the production moderator. Namaste. Our hats off to you, sweetheart, and thank you for all that you do for us. I see you on so many channels, and it's just great to have you, which is kind of like our cheerleader or matriarch. What do you want to call yourself, Sue? I'm kind of curious. But whatever it is, we're so happy that you're here to kind of participate and make us part of our family. I kind of feel like sometimes it's like we're at the virtual campground. And I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of fun to kind of meet new people. And what does the saying go for the Girl Scout songs? I used to be a co-Girl Scout leader. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. So, gosh, I better stop singing. I'm going to drive everywhere right. Kenny, the premiere is still going on? What? Man, I am. Let's see. Man, I was supposed to be 22 minutes. I think there's like about a minute or two of trailer before they let it get started. But it is still a work in progress. Well, Night, thanks for coming over here, Kenny. Good to have you. Another phenomenal moderator. And his show format where he does games and contests, and he's a fun-loving guy. But I think the best of all is that when he has his foods, and a lot of people say, hey, Kenny, would you like to try this? I hope you like the care package that Grace and I sent you. Actually, Grace picked it all out. I'm just taking half the credit anyway. But it's just so fun to see you laugh and having a good time with everybody. And your attitude is great. Oh, I'm kind of not sure where you're at today, Kenny. Are you back home in River City, or are you with Red out to the coast, or somewhere in between? I don't know where you guys are at today. So, Red or Kenny, let us know where you find yourself today. Yeah, two of me. That's what Sue says. Yeah, one is too much. Two, double trouble. That's funny. Maybe Grace will drop in for a cameo performance. I think she's whipping up something for dinner here about this time of day. But those of you on the right coast, the East Coast, probably already time for social hours. So I haven't seen any questions yet about the power. I'd like to get some questions. Not that I have the answers, but I can commiserate with you. But if you have anything about solar, about inverters, about batteries, boy, that's a topic that could go on for a long, long time. Well, the other two as well. Kind of how we started. For those of you who saw the video, we started off kind of like an elephant. You take a bite at the time, and then later on it's like, okay, we're going to go a little bit deeper. And what does that mean? Yeah, deeper in debt. It's like, man, this credit card, it's up. Oh, look at that. Because the green screen wipes it out. Huh. And if I put it like this way, it's just got a hole in it, doesn't it? Well, at least you can't read the number anyway. But yeah, as you start adding more gear, all of a sudden it's, yeah, the credit card balance. Man, am I going to be able to pay it off this month? And, sadly, I guess with the inflation this year already being over 5% for the first, 9, 10 months, it looks like, and who knows what it'll be at the end of the year. But, that kind of bites into if you don't pay off your credit card or if you're on a fixed income, it hurts also. So I'm hoping that the government can get this in moderation. And Red says, what would you think? I need solar, Michael. I don't think I do. Atom, not ATM, I guess, not like an ATM account. But so a great question. I guess first off, it's think about our needs or wants. Yeah. So, think about how much do you really need to have. I will say that there's two categories of power. A lot of ways to cut it. But, you have the things that are really heavy duty power consumers, the gluttons, and that would be your heater and your air conditioner. A microwave or something like that, or an oven can be too. But normally, if it's something we need a lot of power, if in your case, Red, is since you have a generator, if you're not plugged in, I would say, run the generator for a half hour, an hour. I mean, you're not going to want to probably run it all day during the day for air conditioning, but if you have to, you have to. You can certainly, since you wouldn't have solar in that situation, you can go under the trees, right? We sometimes like to go to water, or we like to go up to higher elevations, and we talked about that. So, and then for if it gets really cold in the winter, solar is not going to do it for you, and you just about have to use some kind of fossil fuel if you can't plug in. Obviously, more insulation helps, but so let's kind of put that off to the side. So that means all the other things that you might want to plug in. Obviously, things like this. If you've got a laptop, a desktop, maybe you got something smaller like a smartphone or a tablet or something that's not a big power consumer. That's something to consider. Is if you're using those, you don't need as much power for that. Obviously, your lighting, and hopefully you have LED lighting. I can't remember if you have LED lighting or not, but that's something that is helpful. Each bulb, these incandescent bulbs, are like 40 watts. I think we have 8 of them on the overhead of ours. So, yeah, a couple hundred watts. That's kind of uses a lot of power pretty quickly. So, I would say is that, what we've found helpful is to start off by something affordable. And that is to get, I think it was in Ames. I'll bring up a picture of it here. I think I have one. I can show you. Let's see. Ames. That's an inverter. Do I have a picture of it here? Nope, I didn't put it on this one. But if you look on Amazon or another site, AIMS inverter, and I got one that was 2,000 watts. But we have a 200 amp alternator, and so if we're running, you're going to have to run your engine, but our engine doesn't use a lot of power. Grace has got something. Hey, come on in for a cameo. No. Oh, you can come in for a second. Come on now that you're this far, sweetie. And here's Grace. There's Grace. What's up?
Your sound is fading in and out.
Oh, my sound is fading in and out. I haven't seen anybody said that, but I'm sorry for that. I'll try to be, I don't know if I should speak louder or quieter. But anyway, the point being is that, if you have where you hook up to where your battery is, that's where your alternator is going to. And you can get over 1,000 watts easy. Now, that would be like 10 100-watt panels or 5 200-watt panels. So that can be a great source if you need it for a half hour, an hour at a time. And what we do is we go into, it could be a Jackery, a Goal Zero. We use EcoFlow Delta. What's the fourth one? Can't think of what it is. Anyway, there's a half dozen companies. Oh, Blue Eddy. You get one of those. It's kind of like a power bank, and you can hook in a solar, or you can hook in 110 volts, which the Ames inverter is the output. And so, it can fill up your, like with these EcoFlow Delta, you get it, you start with 1,000 watts and you get it down to about like say 200 or 300 watts. And with an hour, it's filled back up again. It charges very quickly. Now, the other ones, the other companies, they use a lithium phosphate versus lithium ion. What does that mean? It just means that you can use them more cycles, but it charges up much more slowly. So what that means is that when you have a slow charge and it lasts longer, so maybe you'll get 3,000 usage, whereas the one I have maybe get 600 uses, maybe 1,000 usage, and then it's not going to have 100% power. It'll go down to about 70 or 60%. In fact, a Tesla is a good, for instance, or these other Volt or whatever types of electric batteries that are in cars. They'll have a certain number of uses too. And when they get down less than 70%, they say, well, okay, it's about time to get a new one, or you don't have as much power. So those are some things I hope that are helpful. And let's see, who else is here? Did I see something about Gina? Gina up north to Oregon, north the Rushes. Great time up there. And Sly, 14 karat. I guess that's what KT stands for. I'm not really sure. Captain Jack says, I need lots of power for Holly's oxygen equipment. Yeah, that's right. Even people at nighttime that have breathing problems, something pack, I can't think of what the name is right now. I'm sure you all know. But yeah, if you have something that has a motor that is spinning, then yeah, it's going to take maybe a couple 100 watts an hour. And if you say, well, if you're going to be asleep for 8 hours, it's like, yikes, that's over 1,000 watts. And so like that EcoFlow Deltas I was telling you about, that will have about 1,000 watts. They say 1,300, but you don't get 100% efficiency, and you can't run it down to zero. If you have just, as a for instance, Red, if you have your lead acid batteries, which is normally in our engines and normally the ones that comes in our coach, a lot of us have 2 6-volt lead acid batteries. Some people pay 3 or 4 times as much for the AGM, the glass batteries, and they'll last longer, but they cost 3 or 4 times as much. But you can only take those down to about 50%. You can't, if they have 100 amps, produce 1,000 watts because it's over 10 volts, right? They're about 12, 13 volts. So you got 1,000 watts. You can't use all 1,000. You can only use about 500, whereas a lithium polymer battery or lithium phosphate, you can take them down to about 80, maybe 90%. So those are things to consider. So yeah, I guess that in your case, Captain Jack, for Holly's oxygen equipment, you would maybe be able to use a storage unit if you have like 1,000 watts or more, or 2,000. Use it for maybe 4 to 6 hours, and then start up the engine on the RV, and you can go ahead and get 1,000 watts or up to 2,000 watts, like in the model we have, and you can get those battery packs charged up again. And so you're not going to use that much fuel in an hour or so. And most engines, they're going to be fine. I've heard some people complain as well, but isn't that going to gunk up the engine? Hasn't seemed to. If I've done some research on it, your mileage may vary, but hasn't been a problem. So I hope that anyway helps a little bit. Red says, I got new batteries. Yes, I remember you were talking about that, where, in Red's rig, because the voltage was get low. And if you have like a car battery, it's supposed to be about 13.2 volts, but then when you don't run it, and you hook something up, it's maybe about 12.8 volts. It'll stay there at that voltage for a while, and then it starts 12.4, 12.3, 12.2. You don't want to get down to less than 12 volts. If you do, it's a good likelihood you can start damaging the battery when it gets to 11 volts. So I put in Red's rig, I had an extra that I hadn't installed yet, a little voltmeter, just a digital voltmeter, and just hooked it up across the batteries to say, make sure that it's at least 12 volts or more. If it's not 12 volts, you better not hook anything up to it until you get it charged again. Things to think about. Traveling on. Hey there, good to have you. How's things for your neck of the woods today? And what's your power rigs there? Paul, I got to say there with Van Vita Travels, she's like, man, she like rolls up her sleeves and her and her bud, man, they get in there and they just do stuff. I mean, and when you think about an ambulance with all those wires and things that were there before, and which ones are you going to mine out, or is it something that's hooked up to your tail lights or something like that? So, yeah, those are things also you do want to consider as far as to how are you going to connect things? How much space is it going to take? Where are you going to put these extra lithium batteries? Like in Red's rig, she has some room on the side, but then, you like it for storage also. So there are some trade-offs. I've seen some people where they go inside their kitchenette and under one of the tables where they have the chairs, they, flip it up and then they put a bunch of stuff down there. And one of the advantages of that is that it stays warmer rather than if it's kind of more under storage on the outside. But if it's a lead acid, you can't put it inside because they have to breathe. And you don't really want the gases to be inside. So, but if you have the AGM batteries, they are sealed. Or if you have the lithium batteries, they are sealed. So things to consider. And I don't know. I've been flapping my jaws here. Let's see if I've missed anything. Red says, mine kept dying. Oh, yeah. If you have a power source, and I got to tell you something that I learned on ours. I took the EcoFlow Delta and I thought, I'm just going to hook it up to where the incoming power to the RV, that big 30 or 50 amp plug, and you use a dog bone to get it so it goes down to 110 volts, the typical Edison connector. That's the one with the two prongs that go this way and then the ground plug down underneath it. And so I'll just go ahead and hook the EcoFlow Delta up there. I'm going to be good to go. And we went in to watch a show with the grandkids, in fact, and had it hooked up to the TV. And about an hour later, it's like the lights went off to the TV. I'm like, what? It hasn't, because the TV only uses about, it's a 42-inch TV, the diagonal, I guess. No, it's like it shouldn't be using but less than 100 watts, maybe 60 watts. How could it have gone dead? It's like, well, what happens is since I hooked it up to the main plug, then anything in the RV that is hooked up to it says, if you've got some power, hey, big boy, give me some of your power. And what do you think it was that started sucking up all the power? Well, there is a converter which takes it from AC to DC, and it goes to where? To the house batteries. Remember, Paul, you were talking about your batteries kept dying? Well, mine were still, I don't know, they probably had like, 800. Well, I'm going to put it this way. They're still well over 12 volts. But it says, well, hey, how about if we take them up to 14? If they're 13.2, we're going to get a good charge. I'm going to punch them with 14 volts. So it started using hundreds of watts every 10, 15 minutes. And like, no. My house batteries are good. We don't need to do this. So I learned quickly that unless I was going to turn off the circuit that goes to charging the batteries, because whenever you're hooked up to the shore power, right? If you're hooked up to the pedestal at the RV campground, then yeah, it's going to go ahead and start pumping, man, putting stuff in there. And if you're not hooked up to it, they're going to start going down. So sometimes there's a wiring problem or a fuse is broken. So all things to consider. So anyway, I hope those are some good questions. I don't know if you have some more, but it's 5:09 California time for us people on the left coast. And if you don't have any more questions, I am going to go ahead and start with our news of the week. I hope, by the way, you liked the show there that we had on our premiere. That was a lot of fun put together. And it's just the first part of it. I'm going to get in some of the details on the good, the bad, and in my case, the ugh, some of the things that I thought I studied a lot, but man, there is always going to be things that are going to be gotcha. So I won't tell you more about that yet, but prepare to be surprised. So, okay, here we go. I got to do this. I should have, but I haven't been able to get Grace here today. So I got to get some clicks here and some of these things. And Van Life with Gina. Hey, hey, hey. Good to see you. And I'm Captain Jack. These are my sandwich people. You know what that means? Yeah, one's before us and others right after us. So that is very cool. And some of the early birds there was Captain Jack. Prepare to be boarded. And Paula, love her shows always. James Cantonese has been around quite a bit. James, I hope you're doing well today. And Sue, namaste. Our hats off to you for sure. And Christine, ever. John is always here. John, thank you so much for always being there with us. And going down, or as Ray would say, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And Red is another a fave that we always have a good time getting together with her. Bree, TJ on Friday and everywhere else. And Kenneth is awesome. I just want to get you up on the big screen there. Julie, I missed you there, Julie. Hey, Julie. Hoping you're doing well today and getting ready for the winter season, staying bundled up. And who else do we have here? Oh, yeah, Sly. Sly. Is that 14 karat? Like, oh, I love your outfit there. That is great. Man, you're a looker there in that outfit. It's funny because you've got the vertical stripes, and I've got something on the humor later on where somebody thinks it's vertical stripes like on a lion or something like that. And I think you're going to laugh as much as I do when you see that. So love your outfit there. Traveling on. Howdy. And I think we're kind of getting through. And anybody else that's I might have missed. I think I got you all. So, traveling with Nick P. I wonder where he is today. This guy, if you haven't followed his channel, you got to do it. I mean, this guy is like a genius with his mind. I mean, his poetry in motion, and he's going all around the world. It seems like all around the United States that is with, I want to say Airstream. I want to say Airstream, Amtrak. But yeah, he's got some big plans, and fingers crossed. Can't wait to see some of your videos or stories along that. You could actually do some live streaming, I guess, couldn't you, if you had good cell service when you're out and about? We just saw a double-decker Armstream, a double-decker Amtrak the other day as we're coming back from Sacramento to pick up the grandkids, and that was a lot of fun. So, okay, let's go ahead and get on with the show. First off, all of you who are at Mayberry, been to Mayberry, are going to Mayberry, I hope life is well for you. And yeah, we had hoped to get out there, and it just turned out that, yeah, the 3,000 miles going across, we had some other things happening. So, but that's great when we can get together in the Michigans, in the Oregons, or us coming up. We're definitely looking forward to going down to Quartzsite. And I guess Lake Havasu, we're going to be heading there also with the Escapers subgroup, part of the Escapees. So that's the big thing. Oh, and Nick says, my travels start October 27th. This is the 16th. You have 11 days, my friend. I don't know if you're packed, but if you haven't watched any of 30 and a Wake Up. Now, it doesn't mean 30 years old. I always used to think that. 30 days in one spot, Singapore, or wherever he is at today, and then he goes to the next place. Kevin likes to kind of like our Kevin with Mr. Nomak Experience. But maybe if your name's Kevin, you're just kind of like Rolling Stone, where you just keep on the move. Anyway, 30 to Wake Up, his suitcase is like this tall. Yeah, it's about 24 inches long. It's about like a foot high, less than a foot wide, I guess. But and that's it. And he, of course, wears his long pants and his hard shoes, not his flip-flops. But this guy, he doesn't go where it's real cold, of course. It's sort of like the with Nomadic, yeah, with Eric and Jax. And so, yeah, try to chase 70 degrees. What's wrong with that? Somebody asked, traveling on. When is the Quartzsite meetup? That is a good question. I certainly want to go to Box Van D's hangout. And, a lot of people down there do. I'm sure that Bob Wells, once again, last year was kind of hard because of COVID. But there's a lot of groups that do meet up, and I'm not sure of the people. Some of the YouTubers that I met with last year are going to do it again. But Diary of a Family was on one side of us, and Grassroots Living was on the other side of us, and Papa Drew and those people, and met some great people there. So I guess that it will probably either be around the time of the big tent, or it might be a week before. I think we're going to be down a week or two before, because at Lake Havasu, which is about maybe 80 miles north, there on the Colorado River, beautiful. Have you ever heard the song London Bridge is Falling Down? Did you know they moved it from England stone by stone, and they put it, yes, in Lake Havasu? It was a great PR public relations stunt. And so anyway, it's great temperatures there, and they have the balloon festival, hot air balloons, and there's several hundred of them that get launched. Not as big as in Albuquerque, but still pretty cool. But so I would say, I think they meet about maybe the 20th. So, but we're going to go down there maybe about the 10th or something like that of January. So I'm hoping we can do 3 weeks, and maybe we can go by and see a little bit of the surrounding area. You know what a lot of people do? Where do they go? If you got an answer, tell me where some of the people go. I'm not going to say yet, but a lot of RVers go to this place when they start at Quartzsite. And I'll give you a hint. It's south of Quartzsite. So at any rate, we'd like to also maybe hang out in San Diego for maybe better part of a week and go see the beautiful part of the southern part of our state. I don't see the answer yet, but it is Yuma. That's why it's the border town. And why did they go to Yuma? Because they want to pick up their drugs. Oh, shh, I don't mean it that way. Not those kind of drugs. Pharmaceutical drugs. So, if you can get them for 1/4 to 1/10 of the price, and they're supposed to be just as safe. I'm not making a recommendation, but a lot of people, when they need their meds, let's say, I'm lucky. I don't need to get on the statins yet, but my cholesterol is high. But, they'll say, oh, I'll just go get all my statin drugs down there and be stocked up for the year. And I haven't heard of anybody that's had any problem with there. If you go into one of the pharmacies just on the other side of the border, and my wife is saying, Grace is saying, shh, yeah, no. But yeah, some people, they like to go ahead and get some of their needs, and maybe they're not even prescription, but I mean, the prices are very good, obviously, on this side of the border. And some will go for their dental work there. I know that's kind of, boy, you want to be really sure, but I know that some of the people have had really good experiences. If you consider that, ask somebody else who has been down there and make sure that you find the good ones. But there's a lot of them. I'm not sure I remember the name of the border town there, but a lot of people find that's very profitable to have like about 1/4 of the price and still have very good dental work. So yeah, anyway, a lot of people go from Quartzsite and go about 70 miles south to Yuma, whereas we're going to be going north to Lake Havasu for part of it. But to answer your question, yes, we're going to be there in, about the 10th of January. Not sure when Box Fan D's plan is to have a get together. And then we're also looking forward to going down to, we've seen the Big Tent. We don't need, I don't think, anything from an RV that's a must have, but it's fun to be down there with the people, to be in one of, there's La Posas South. There's a couple places to go where a lot of the YouTuber RVers go, and to meet some people that you've only seen on the big tubes. And now you can see them in the big campfires and the like. So, okay. We're talking about food there. You guys are going to make me hungry too. So, first item is, that. This is Pink Month, isn't it? And a lot of people in Mayberry, I see where they were, what's new in pink and not blue. But this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I will say, I don't talk about this a lot, but my past wife of 18 years ago, on August 18th, 2003, went to heaven, and we had too little time together, but it was good time that we had. And she was a guardian angel. If you believe in guardian angels, that was one. And I will say, Sue, you are a guardian angel too there with Lucky Dog moderators. So yeah, it's where we have people around us that we focus on the good memories. And she had inflammatory breast cancer. There's, like most cancers, stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, and she was diagnosed at the onset. If it's in your dermal lymphatics going through your under your skin, it's staged at 3A right at the very beginning. But we did the best we could with various types of treatments, and where a lot of people maybe have less than a year, is we've had about 2 or 3 years to go ahead and enjoy life. So I guess I would just say every day is precious. So for those around you, be sure to enjoy them, make the best of your life. Don't want to be victims. And if there are other people that could use maybe just some time just to talk to and you listen, um, be sure to capitalize on that when we have people around us that are dear and that just, it's a chance to bond with people. So whenever I think about these things, or whether it's whatever the maladies are, we want to be sure that we're supportive for them and do what we can to comfort their journey, because it's quality of life as well as quantity of life. So I hope that helps, and thank you for letting me share my story about that. So, okay. Oh, Box Fan, speaking of the angel, there's another one of everybody's angel. Hey, D, how are you, hun? We are just talking about the angel. Oh, and Sue says, your late husband is an angel in heaven too. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you for sharing that. Is that, and now, in fact, Dee, I know that you're doing God's work in terms of your husband is in between a rock and a hard place. And your health, I know you got to take care of as best you can. But when you're a caregiver, in a way, as time goes on, we kind of relate to when we have our kids and the things we had to do for our kids. And when somebody's very far along with their disease progressing, there's a lot of the same things. So it can be a gift, especially if your loved one is compassionate and is. If they're not, who could blame them? If you have things where they're in pain and things are not going well, we just have to do the best we can. So Dee, thank you for all you're doing, for telling us about what your story is. And I know that you don't imbibe as much as like Tanya and Daryl, but sometimes I'll bet you wonder, don't you? But anyway, whatever it is we have to kind of brighten our day is something we should all try to do. So, okay, so next up is, I mentioned about Paula and the northern border that we're letting people in. Canada, come visit California or wherever, the northern states. So I think that's pretty cool. So first story is about, oh, did I miss somebody else here? I see where Sue is saying, sorry to hear about your loss, Red, but yes, Red, and thank you for bringing up yours also. So, my brother, my condolences for the loss of what your ex-wife. Yes, that's right. Thank you, John. So, at any rate, about the campgrounds of America is our first story of the day. Everybody in the camping, these businesses are making money hand over fist, and Campground of America, they're a little pricey, aren't they? But if you've got kids and you love the family type things, they have a lot of amenities for an appropriate price. But they're reporting a 36.6, if you will, 37% increase in revenues up through the third quarter, the highest that they've ever grossed in their 59-year history. So they've had the pandemic, of course, that brought a lot of people in the campground, but a lot of people are buying campers that can't travel via air and so on. So Toby O'Rourke, the president and CEO, says these new campers are continuing to join POA campgrounds. So how about that? So I thought that was a pretty cool story. The next one, I've got to say, I've seen something. I mentioned it last week, but it was it surprised me, and it's about RV travel and safety. In fact, I'm going to have one about an RV that caught fire deliberately for making a YouTube video. More on that in a little bit. But no, this is about, what type of protection do you have in your arsenal? And I will say this, I don't mind saying this, is right here in my pocket, I always carry my tear gas. Now, you wouldn't want to spray a police with tear gas. You wouldn't want to spray a person. You know about assault and battery? Yeah, an assault is when you get close to a person, you create fear for them, legitimate fear for a reasonable person test. That's an assault. Don't you have to touch them. Just you threaten them verbally or, physically. But a battery, it doesn't mean having to touch somebody always. It could be like with pepper spray. So you just don't like when you're mad at somebody. Now, I carry it for our dog. No, I don't spray our dog. But if our dog's getting beat up by a pit bull, and it's happened, and the dog ripped my finger, I said, that's not going to happen again. And you can't have like a baton or something. Yeah, you could have a bat or golf club, I suppose. But I carry this just to make sure that my pupster isn't going to get bit again, although he's got a lot of hair, so they didn't get too much out of him. But anyway, so that's kind of without escalating it to people, but they start talking about handguns. And that's kind of what I wanted to share with you is that, when you have a clip, the magazine, and you have a clip to hold it. Some people have these, they put them on their belt to hold extra rounds of ammunition. And so I guess I'm on some lists, and I get this one that I want to share with you. Maybe, I think I can do it right here. Give me just a second. Anyway, I want to give you what this, there's some inscriptions on it. And I'm just, if you have any kind of defensive weapons that a prosecuting district attorney says, I think it's an offensive weapon, and I think it shows a propensity that this person is up to no good. And so I was just defending myself. I can prove it. And I said, but let's look at some of the things that are on your weapon or your magazine. And so what I received this week was the following. Memento mori is a Latin phrase meaning remember, you must die. We love this phrase as a reminder that we don't know for the day or hour of our passing from this world. So we should live our lives to the fullest. Oh, that sounds pretty harmless. It sounds almost like religious. And they go on. While we don't know when this life will end, we know that the promise of eternity, if we believe in God. And then, they throw the religion. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be religious at all, but I think it's important that you understand the context versus the way a district attorney is reading. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, whoever believes in him shall not perish for everlasting life. John 3:16. Whoa. So you're saying that on my weapon or on my clip with extra ammo, I'm going to have an inscription that's going to say, what was the meaning again? Did you catch that? The meaning was, remember, you must die. Well, what do you think people are going to think about if, you say I defended myself. Maybe you didn't even use it. Maybe you just flashed a firearm, brandishing, which can be a felony, if it wasn't called for to scare somebody away. Well, I thought they were going to hit me. You can't show a firearm like that. So at any rate, the point is I want to show you the picture. If I push this button and get myself out of the way, there it is. So on one side of the clip, it's got a skull there and, a skull, a skeleton. And the other, it's memento mori. No, no, this is not cool because, if the police, okay, come along, Mr. Nistler, let's take a look at your magazine. What's this mean? Well, we'll look it up. And they take a look is that about everyone must die is like, oh, and you have that on your weapon, huh? So, please don't either yourself or people, let them have this stuff on their weapons or ammo clips or whatever. This is really bad news. Yes, I do study about to make sure is that if you do need to defend yourself, is that how does that work at when the game is played? I'm talking about at trial. So Anyway, I just had to share that. That's my public service announcement. But yeah, don't don't do that kind of stuff. Even though you might think it's a good laugh or whatever, it won't play well in a courtroom. So okay, on to more fun stuff. Unless somebody has anything to say about that. Yeah, profiling exactly. Good one, Captain Jack. So how about the United Kingdom? You know, they've got a new rig, and I've got some pictures of it here in a second. But it's a Volkswagen, but they're not selling it in the United States. Let me tell you about it. This is unbelievable. A Volkswagen version of a hippie bus. Wait a second. Really? In United Kingdom? Hippies? Well, maybe some. Well, I mean, they probably have the disposable income. It's called the California Beach Camper. Like, say what? Why aren't they selling in the United States in California? Anyway, it has a 2-liter turbo diesel, hauls around, a body with a manual pop-up roof, kind of like the Westphalias. You remember those? They're so popular. These people that have these old ones, I do mean they're like 40, 50 years old. They've been rusted out. These clubs get together and they always bring extra parts because everybody else is breaking down. You'll never find one that would be sold without what all the things they've replaced or what they haven't replaced. Probably be a better way. But anyway, this is brand spanking new turbo diesel. Who could go wrong? Extendable awning, and I got some pictures for you in just a second. And by the U.S. standards, it falls in the smallest category of motorhome, a Class B. But being small doesn't make it cheap. The California Beach Camper starts at an equivalent of $76,350. That's starting, by the way. But I've got a video and I've got some pictures because I think you'll find it humorous. At least I did. Maybe that's just my sense of humor. But let's see here. I'm going to get some pictures. And let's start with the way they used to look in the good old days. You remember those? Yeah. Let's see. I want to go back to the MSI laptop and get me in a small one. But there we go. What do you think? Remember how those were? Some people sell those for $30,000, $40,000 now. It's like, really? Well, they maybe have them restored in mint condition, but wow, they probably originally sold for about $2,500. Okay, so let's take a look at the way it looks now on this new one, though. Inquiring minds must know. There you go. I gotta say, that looks pretty damn sharp. I think it's going to be a seller. Some people, well, it's not going to go that much. I think it's a test market for people with the disposable income. I think it's going to come here. I think it's going to be a big hit, regardless of what the article said. I can't remember where I got the article. I have one more photo here somewhere. Oh, in a campground. Yeah, I mean, it is. If you are a minimalist, isn't that what we all love? Something like that. You can stand up, it pops up, and you can sleep up on top. And I think it's going to be a hit. I don't know. What do you guys think? It looks to me. And oh, by the way, yeah, you can put solar on top of it. I see they got a solar panel. I don't know if you catch that back behind the dome. But interesting. You're not going to get a lot of solar on top of it. But I've got a video that just cracked me up. And let's see if, right here it is. I'm going to play this puppy.
The Volkswagen station wagon is only 9 inches longer than the Volkswagen sedan. Yet it holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including bag and baggage.
Isn't that fun? I mean, that is, talk about a clever advertisement. That is too funny, isn't it? I think it's going to be a hit. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's small, but for those of you who are the minimalist, is that ain't happening. So, at any rate, but I mean, really calling it a California wagon, but not selling it in the United States yet, makes me scratch my head. Anyway, it was a pretty funny story. Okay, humor of the month. Are you ready? I want you all to kind of do some voting on this. And, Fred says, when I get a house again, I'll get a small RV. Yeah, there is something to be said about that. But hey, maybe you'll be a growing family. And see, that was pretty funny. Wasn't that great advertising? I saw that. I thought, those people are so clever. No wonder they sold a lot of those. So stay tuned. I guess we could have got Bitcoin when it was 1/10 of the cost. Now, I don't know if we should invest in Volkswagen. They had that bad hit with the smog stuff, but hopefully they're on the comeback. So, okay, I have a link here. This is rvhumor.com, by the way. And let's see. This site here. Just copy and paste. I'm going to open up a browser. And, oh, I don't have a browser opened up. Okay. And here we go, browser opened, and these I think you're going to find. In fact, I want you to vote for them. Tell me what you think on these. So, okay, I'm going to go over to that screen again, and I'll put myself over on there, this side this time. Yeah, there we go. Is it backwards or is it forward? I'm curious. Am I transmitting to you in a forward, or do I need to reverse this screen? I never know when I go through some of these. Is it looking the right way? Can you read it? On this screen, it says best RV camping memes, and I can read it that way. In this other screen, it's backwards. So I'm not sure if I'm transmitting it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and you can let me know if I'm going the right way or the words are backwards. But let's start taking a look at some of these pictures. Well, there you go. I don't know if you can see it that well, but it looks like it's somebody missed the tunnel there, 60 miles an hour. I got a feeling somebody was sleepy. Oh, it is backwards. Okay. Thank you, Sue. And I'm going to have to go and see if I can figure out which button I hit. So that is this one. And okay, so there is something to make it go backwards here. I think it's that screen. And I think it's, let's see, is it the X rotation? I think it's the X rotation. Zoop. Did that do it? I don't think I'm on the right. Am I on the right screen? I don't know if that did or not. Let me know. At any rate, okay, so oh, this is backwards, but it's okay. All right, anyway, I think I got it forward again, but I'm not sure. Let's go on to the next one anyway. Okay, so somebody looks like they fell asleep. They missed the opening. Next one. Well, I didn't know what I was supposed to look at, but when I saw it, it was like, how do you get in the back? I can see this long, like protruding trailer hitch, but how do you get in the back? I mean, like, that's kind of an interesting one. Okay, let me know which one of these you like. Here it is, says, when the car you used to draw in kindergarten pulls up next to you. Yeah, if you look at this, what? That's a homemade car if I've ever seen. Captain Jack, is this one of your contraptions here? It is so funny. Did you ever see the Science Fiction Theater 3000? Yeah, it looks like one of the characters in that. So, okay. Yeah, that was like definitely a DIY. And then here's one for Halloween. Does this crack you up or what? Look at this. There's a lawnmower, looks like a club cadet, and there's like a skeleton driving it, and then there's a skeleton trying to move out in front, but part of the bones are, it's kind of macabre, isn't it? I guess. And then the person in the back, the skeleton in the back is going, my buddy lost some of his bones. I guess that's another public service mention for the day. Okay. Next one. I love this one. Look at, that's got a cool Harley. And back of it, I don't know how they made that, but it looks like a gas tanker. I think it's probably not fuel, or they could go a long ways if that's their fuel. And it's got 4 wheels on the back, 2 on each side. But I think that must be where they store their tents or whatever else they have. But yeah, that's fun, Captain Jack. Bob's, when he gets on the semi, I tell you, I feel like I need to have a libation when I watch him. When he starts going 75 miles an hour, and it's like, oh no, Don't do that, Bob. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of Bob when he gets out there. Okay, this is back from the 20s. I guess that's a Model A, I guess. But that's kind of interesting. It's like it's a wooden RV. Yeah, why not? It's a Woody, right? Now, don't say anything about that, Captain Chuck. I know what you're thinking. But yeah, it's really kind of cute. They were ahead of their time. Okay, me. I want to travel. Bank account. Where to? Are you going to go to work? Yeah, that is kind of true for us travelers, isn't it? We've got the time, but somehow the talents maybe we have and the treasures not so much. Next one. When replacing the roll, remember, beards are cool. I guess that means you roll it down from the top. Mullets are bad. I get the joke about which way you have the toilet paper, but I don't know. Are mullets, does that mean when you roll it? I've never heard that said before, a beard or a mullet. I'm kind of, help me with that one. I don't get it. Okay, next one is, oh, this is funny. There's a veterinarian, there's a man standing in front of the vet, and all these cats are waiting, and it says medical catnip. You get it? It's kind of, it's a little evil in a way. But I'm sure, as many of you know, is that a lot of these pharmacies have been sued for, and the pharmacists too, and the doctors for pushing all of these pain meds. They've been going, if you got a problem here, don't worry about it. Take some pain meds, take some pain meds. And now these people are with the addictions of the heroin-based substances, fentanyl, all kinds of things there. So, yeah, but that's a funny play on it, is that all the cats are coming. Yeah, I want some catnip. This could be for you, Gina. Is that for you and your 5 cats? They're all in line to get some catnip. I don't know about this one. This one's a little dicey. Truly skilled bottoms be like. Yeah, I get it when you're getting your espresso coffees, you're paying $4 or $5. And, you want some artistry with your drink. It's kind of, the presentation, the substance, and the form, right? But in a toilet bowl, nah, I don't know. Maybe some of you like that. That's yikes. Okay, this one is quite poignant. Now, this is the ones for this last month, and there it is, Captain Kirk. He just did what? He just went on the Orion, on the Jeff Bezos Amazon company. Well, he's no longer the CEO of Amazon. But yeah, he just took a flight up in a rocket to the near edges of space. And so it says, which weighs more, a gallon of water or a gallon of butane? He's asking Spock. And Spock says, they would both weigh 1 gallon. And Kirk says, wrong. It's water. Butane is it's a lighter fluid. Oh, that's 2/3 pun, PU, right? A play on words, but it's pretty funny. Okay, the next one is from the crypto naturalist, says, hummingbirds. I shall sip nectar from this flower in a silent ballet. And the woodpecker says, I'm going to stab the bugs out of this tree with my face knife. Okay. Oh, that is funny. There you go, Captain Jack. Look at that. You got an old pickup, and it's got a huge engine with a supercharger on the back. And it looks like, look at the gas tank. It looks like it is. It looks like a kegger. Is it filled with beer? I don't know, but that's pretty cute. Here's a great one. Less flamboyant relative of the boom chakalaka, and it's a bird, is called the plain chakalaka. I'm sorry, that is probably my favorite. Less flamboyant relative of the boom chakalaka is the plain chakalaka. Oh, okay. It is going backwards. So I am so sorry. I thought that I was let me try one more. This is the laptop. Maybe I clicked the wrong, I think I did. So I want to go to this one, double click it, and go over here. And I think it's the X rotation. Does that make it go forward? I don't know. Anyway, it's supposed to, doggone it, but if it doesn't, my apologies. At least I'm giving you the verbiage for it there. Okay, next one is I was enjoying my morning walk and I almost had a heart attack. And if you look at it, isn't this funny? Here it shows it looks like it's a lion, but it's this vertical bars, and it's actually a dog that's there. But yeah, when you look at it from a distance, it's like, uh-oh, that looks like some kind of leopards, right? Don't leopards have the stripes? Or tigers do for sure, don't they? Oh, that was a goodie. And are you kidding me? This is real. Now look at this motorcycle. It's got not a side wagon, but it's got a ramp for it looks like, yeah, it's a miniature horse, isn't it? It's not a pony. I think it's a miniature. It's got a ramp it can walk up and be next to the cyclist. You think it's a man or a woman would have that? Anyway, it's so funny. I think that is pretty clever. And I got to tell you, the funniest one that I ever saw was down in Tucson, Arizona. I was just starting to work for AT&T, and I'm out walking, and I see this motorcyclist. It's a woman, and she's got a scarf, a red scarf that's going, and she has dark sunglasses on. But wait, there's more. Behind her, I guess is, I don't recall that it had like a seat that held it in, but it's sitting on the seat, and it's a black lab with the red scarf and sunglasses on the dog, on the black lab. I did a double take. What? It was so funny. The Bobbsey twins, and there it was. The lady, red scarf, sunglasses, dog, red scarf, sunglasses. Oh, goodness gracious. So I think we had just a couple more here, and then we'll go on to some more stories. Oh, yes. Now, the sign. This is the Church of God, and the sign says, Jesus, 6 o'clock, parking lot. And the caption is Jesus fighting people now? Well, you look at it, I mean, Jesus, 6 o'clock, parking lot. What in the world? That is, I love the caption goes with it. Any more? Oh, yeah, a cat. And I can't see what's underneath it here. I'm going to have to, see if I can close that. Oh, there's nothing underneath it. But the cat has got big attitude there. It's thinking big, trying to clomp onto this huge fish. Doctor, how often do you exercise? Me, 3 times. Doctor, in a week, in a month? I have given my answer. 3 times total in the life. 3 times. That's good. Any more? Oh, yes. Now, here's the man. He's standing up. When you get the hand on the side, now, men, you know what that happens sometimes when you go to the restroom. You have your hands like that, and your legs are spread. And this gentleman, if you will, is looking closely at this equipment. And it was a broadband router that went out on Facebook a week ago. And it says, there's Mark Zuckerberg right now. I was like, he is not happy with his equipment. Anyway, I guess men would probably appreciate that. And here's a cat laying down in I guess it's a dry fish tank, but it looks like it's just having a good time sleeping on its back. Maybe it's eating all the fish. I don't know. Oh, here's another one. Here's a car. Sadly, it's flipped upside down. And if you look on the side, it says problem. And on the other side, if it was right side up, it would say no problem. Meaning if it's upside down, it's a problem. And sure enough, it flipped upside down. Wow, that's bad karma, wasn't one, I guess it's just a converted Harvesty is what it's, at least that's all I see on it. But I don't know if there's a guess. Anyway, those were kind of fun, but I just wanted to share with you. And if you do get a chance, be sure Harvest Host is the one who sponsors these, and this is by rvhumor.com. So check that out. They have a lot of good things, but if you like humor on RVs, yeah, they do a really good job. So, and they also have the videos of the month. And let's take a look at the videos. We've got only about 8 minutes before we're going to do a great on Gina. So let's see, where are they? I think I have to close this baby down and that baby. I've got all these windows open. And there we go. Oh, I think probably as big as anybody in terms of the normal RV cousin. You know, there's some of the younger folks that are have lots of views, but Keep Your Daydreaming is one of the big ones. And here's something where they did a shout out for guess who? No, not me. Not Grace. Somebody else. Harvest Host. And that was cool. You know, I think this one, in the first week, they get better part of 200,000 views. Good for them. Maybe in our next life we will. Maybe this life. We'll see. But anyway, let's go take a look.
I have some impromptu comments on Harvest Host.
Oh,
Recheck.
do share.
Great work.
Oh, do you need me to make sure that there's no Charlie?
I did that this morning.
Okay.
Okay, the first thing is, this was such.
Sorry. I'm trying to get my audio a little bit louder. It's kind of, I don't know for you, but it didn't sound like it's to me that loud. Oh, it says it's up there quite a ways. Okay.
an impromptu stay.
Mm-hmm.
See what
And these are some of the best Harvest Host experiences for us, when you're just like, hey, let's just kind of like drag in there and we'll see what happens. And then you meet great people, and it's just been a lot of fun.
We
Holy
don't
so,
mislead you though. We did call it a little bit in advance.
I think I see what it's
Oh, hey, Brian, this is Mark. We're Harvest Host members. Did, and that's what I wanted. That's one of the things I wanted to say. A couple things. One is,
That's funny.
as Harvest Host grows, they're going to become more busier. I mean, this is where they're hosting 5 or 6 people, but I'll bet
Now I'm
there's
upside
demand here where you've got to make that reservation early to get in.
Oh, wow.
And that can sometimes disappoint people that like Harvest Hosts are getting busy.
I'm not sure that you would have to put in a request a couple days before because our lot's so small.
Sure.
We can only fit 2 stalls.
Gotcha. So I
I'm
think
sorry.
no, that's okay.
Mhm.
But there was way more people hosts coming to the program,
Right.
and it's still a great alternative. So I wouldn't let that.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of a nice testimonial that was for them. And there's a couple others, but yeah, if you go, I think it's kind of nice when they have some featured RVers, especially some of them where they do a shout out for Harvest Host. But they are, I think, a good company, and I just wanted to share that. So the last one is with Mark and Julie Bennett with RV Love. And let me go back to the screen for a second here. They hyped up, well, it's fun to do promos. They bought a 1973 Winnebago. That's right, 1973 Class A, and they wanted to they bought it for $1, $10. They wanted to set it on fire to kind of show, and have fire department nearby, but show they were going to simulate a gas top grease fire. So you have all this bacon in it, and they put some combustible materials like some papers and things, and said, let's see what happens when it starts to catch fire, with the police, obviously, the fire department nearby. After you watch it, man, you will want to check out your fire extinguisher. So let's go take a look at that one and make that to complete our show. Oops. Come on. I got to get the... okay, I got it highlighted and back to here. And you can see what an RV fire looks like.
Estimated it would take about 15 minutes.
It's funny how some of these are so much louder than others, so I need to make an adjustment on the audio. Just 1 second. And if I can get the right button here, once more, audio, and I think this one probably even like 50% might be a lot. Okay, and so I want to start at the 18-minute level, 18 minutes, 17, 18. Okay, I think I got it. And we're going off to the MSI screen, get myself small, and here we go.
Got the drones up in the air, trucks all around, cameras set up inside and outside the RV.
They're going to set it on fire. They got some paper, and they got it right next to where all the bacon grease is, and you can see it is it's up.
Rolling.
Now, if the door was open, it would get more oxygen there, so it's going to go slower. If they left the door open, it would go even faster. But you can see the flames. If you had a fire extinguisher now, you could put it out. But man, if you don't get it in that first 30 seconds, we can start to see the fire alarm is coming out.
Smoke out the windows right now.
Within 30 seconds to a minute, it's going to be too late. And that's a Coleman stove on top, which has the side rails.
This is happening fast.
You just got a matter of seconds to get out.
Oh, this is so nerve-wracking.
Get the heck out of there as fast as you can, because it's not going to
So this is about a minute later. So that's after about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's toast, I guess we might say.
You just get back.
And our learnings talking to these fire professionals this week is the smoke inhalation is the first thing that kills you, and of course it goes up high first, which is why you put a smoke detector up high in your home.
And there's another minute later, and
He said 25 minutes is a normal response. Oh! What was that? Wait.
oh, I think
Get
the
back
tires
to-
are popping or something on it. I think they probably got the gas out of the because you'd have a heck of a gas fire too. Anyway, I just thought you might. Oh, wait a second. Looks like they're gonna put it out now. But, you know, it might take a fire crew like 15, 20 minutes. So, yeah, that would be about it for that. So, at any rate, that is something that I thought maybe would interest some of you if you want to go check it out. And that was RV Love. You can go to the YouTube channel and watch that if you're interested. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. And Lucky Talk moderator, do not try this at home or in your RV. That's so good, Sue. You crack me up. So sad they should have redone it. Yeah, you wondered if they could restore that, but I guess it must have been kind of at the end of the line. I guess maybe the engine was out and they gutted it. I don't know. But anyway, Kenny, thank you for giving that link there for Gina. And I hope you all enjoyed the show. And I thank you for coming today. And so we'll be doing more of our travel videos. And I think Grace, she's gotten so good now with the editing on the videos. Move over, Michael. Grace has taken over. And I'm going to start doing more of the DIYs. So, you know, a lot of people seem to like those also. So we're going to kind of mix and match there. But that's what you can expect for California travel videos. So thank you all for being. I hope you enjoyed the show. Sue and Kenny, thank you guys for being great moderators. Namaste to you. And as always, happy trails to you. Until we meet again, peace out. Bye for now. See you over at Gina's. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye. Happy trails to you until we meet